She walked in wearing scars, not medals. They laughed. They whispered. They called her names. But when a stranger walked in, everything changed. That he didn't see a waitress. He saw the woman who once saved his life under fire, and in that moment, every cruel word, every stare, came crashing down. The morning sun stretched long shadows over the parking lot of Mel's roadside diner, a quiet pit stop on Highway 87 in West Texas. Inside, bacon sizzled, coffee cups clinked, and conversations hummed like any other day. Sarah Miller, 35, moved through the diner's aisles like clockwork. Her uniform simple. Her routine efficient. Her eyes quiet and unreadable. But what always stood out, were the scars on her neck and left arm, peeking out despite long sleeves. Burned skin. Healed but not hidden. People stared. They always did. Some whispered. Some smirked. But Sarah never flinched. No one knew what those scars meant. They weren't from a kitchen fire. Not a car crash. They were from an IED in Ramadi, 2006, when combat medic Sergeant Sarah Miller threw herself over a wounded soldier. Her body took the blast. His life was saved. Hers was changed forever. 3 years since she'd left the army. 3 years since she took this quiet job. And still the judgment never stopped. "Hey, Scarface," Chad, a pipeline worker, called out from a booth that had become his regular spot. "Don't spill my coffee. Don't want to end up looking like you." Laughter followed. The usual morning torment. Sarah moved silently, coffee pot in hand. No reaction. No words. Just a glance at her reflection in the window, a face that had seen war, now treated like a sideshow. "What happened to you anyway?" another man snorted. "Someone throw you in a bonfire?" The question stung less than the indifference. Around her, no one intervened. Not the regulars. Not the manager. Not the passers-by who watched the scene unfold like bad TV. Until that morning. The doorbell chimed. A man walked in, mid-40s, strong build, faded Marine Corps cap. He scanned the room. Sat by the window. Michael Kelly. A former Marine. A man who owed his life to a medic he never got to thank. Sarah walked over, sleeve slipping just enough to reveal part of a tattoo. Barely visible. But to Michael, unforgettable. A flash of memory, dust, heat, Ramadi, chaos. An explosion. Bang. A voice. A medic holding pressure to his chest, whispering he'd be okay. He looked up. "3rd to 5th Infantry?" he asked gently. Sarah froze. Her cover torn. "You served?" he continued. She nodded. 2 tours. Medic. Michael's breath caught. "Ramadi? 2006? AD? Route Michigan?" She nodded again. Slower this time. "You saved my life." The words hit like a drum in a silent hall. The diner hushed. Every eye turned. "Sergeant Sarah Miller," he said louder. "You threw yourself on top of me. I never forgot your voice." The contractors sat stunned. Their jokes turned to stone. The customers sat up straighter. A trucker lowered his coffee. An elderly couple stood. Michael took off his hat. Held it to his chest. "Thank you, ma'am," he said. "You didn't just save me. You saved every man in that convoy." Sarah stood frozen. The walls she built in silence began to crack. "I'm not a hero," she whispered. "I was just doing my job." But Michael wasn't finished. He turned to the room. "This woman has a purple heart. A bronze star with valor. She saved over 100 soldiers during 2 tours. And we sat here letting her be humiliated for her scars." People shifted. Guilty. Ashamed. Even Chad stood, eyes on the floor. I didn't know," he muttered. "You didn't care to know," Sarah replied. "You just saw the scars. Not the story." The manager stepped forward, voice tight with emotion. "Sarah, take the day off. With pay. And from now on, anyone who disrespects you here, they're not welcome." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, but she stood tall. Like she had in Iraq. Like she had in silence. Another customer, a young soldier passing through town, stood up and saluted her. "It's an honor, Sergeant. Thank you for your service." Sarah returned the salute, the first time since her discharge. The gesture felt right. It felt earned. 6 months later, Mel's Diner had become something new. A wall of honor displayed photos of local veterans. A Veterans Eat Free sign hung proudly. And Sarah? She found her voice again, not just at the diner but volunteering at the local VA, helping other veterans navigate life after service. The scars remained, but so did the strength. Because sometimes a stranger's voice can restore what the world tried to erase. And sometimes it takes someone who remembers to remind the world who you really are.